Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Tuesday, March 7th, and we are coming at you while Jerome Powell is speaking to the Senate. He's been speaking to the Senate for the past about 90 minutes. It's still ongoing, but we did get the early information telegraphed again to us by the Wall Street Journal, Nick Tamiros, who has been our quote unquote Fed whisperer in relation to many of the big news stories over the past year involving the Fed. He came out and said that basically the Fed is likely going to keep rates higher for longer to deal with the current inflation issue. And so that sent markets lower. Jerome Powell has been talking. There was a little bit of a snapback, and now we are more or less near prices where it opened up where, when he started speaking. So a lot of volatility as expected, during any Fed day, and the outlook seems to be the Fed is going to take more control, more action, which is typically not good for the market. But, the market has been digesting things quite interestingly lately. So let's dive in. DXY is at the top of the demand zone that we lined out last week and have been discussing this week as well. 105.5 is about the top of that demand zone. And if we zoom out on the daily, we can see that is a pretty strong daily candle hovering around the 200 estimated moving average, very much looking like a bull flag, in my opinion. Strong, if you're looking at our RSI trend break system, potential break there still has to confirm. Stock RSI is reset, and of course it is at resistance. So since it is at resistance, could potentially end up getting rejected and floating back down to at least the lower part of the demand zone, 105, or back to where it was recently trading before the rise around 104.2. Else, if it breaks above 105.5, then you have pretty much free reign higher. And I would say that the natural next target would be something like that. So, maybe around 108, 109 in that area. So, keep a lookout to see if DXY breaks above 105.5. If it does, I have a feeling that will negatively affect a lot of the risk markets. Looking at equities, let's go ahead and get rid of some of these from yesterday. So my outlook yesterday, I guess, just to kind of redraw that, was getting rejected back down. That's exactly what happened. We mentioned that 4080 and 4100 would be staunch resistance, and that we had a pretty steep rejection. This was the candle when we were talking yesterday, and that was a pretty strong rejection candle. If you would have shorted that, you would have made a lot of money into today's session. That would have been, let's see, so we're trading right around here. So that would have been a nice 1% trade on equities, which is nothing to sneeze at. Now, where we are at currently, and I'll go ahead and get rid of some of these lines to make it a little bit easier. So where we're at currently is the support around 4010. We are below 4010 now, but that is on the 4-hour candle that opened up at 7. So there's still I think 2 hours and 20 minutes left in this 4-hour candle. So if you can hold 4010, then you potentially have, a springboard to at least get back up to the previous daily close / resistance at 4050, which is where we broke to get down to this level. If you close outside of 4010 and fail to reclaim it, now, we could close out and then have a 4-hour candle that tags back, let's, for an easy example, Bitcoin, right here, something like this, where it's just, the pain trade, everybody wants to short, but it's just sitting underneath resistance. So that could certainly happen. So something to look out for there. But I think, a confirmed break with a rejection off of 4010 for equities will likely end up leading to, either a pattern where we're volatile down, or we just end up continually sliding down as people take some cash off the table. So basically, line in the sand's 4010. I don't think it's going to be an easy trade, acceptance or rejection, but if we do accept outside of 4010, below 4010, I should say, I do think that that's going to be bearish. And of course, if we accept above 4010, that may end up leading to some bullishness. So nothing I don't think is going to happen immediately, but very much something to consider. Looking at Bitcoin now, this 4 hour is very ugly, but it did open up just 40 minutes ago. So there's still plenty of time left in this candle, although it doesn't look very inspiring right now. Just off first glance, 4 hour trend or 4 hour RSI trend is still holding up. We had 2 taps yesterday, both rejected. So very concerning there. And of course, if we just did our trend for Bitcoin right here, definitely, still playing the bearish trend right now. So, we just kind of discussed the fact that it closed outside, been rejected at this 22.3 or 22.5 level a bunch. And then we have support down here pretty much right around 21.3. So we held at, right around 22K, which was the low last Thursday. And of course, this is still our range until it isn't. So resistance is still 22.5. Supports is down to 22K. If you can't break below 22, you're just going to continue to range like this. But if you break below 22, I would expect something like that. And of course, if you can somehow climb to the top of this range and break 22.5, maybe you have a swing failure pattern up to the 200 moving average, or this VWAP that we mentioned as well. Sometimes, like last week, that weekly VWAP ended up getting tagged. It took till Tuesday and Wednesday for it to get tagged, which we're sitting in, of course, a Tuesday. But, with this Fed speak, I think it's going to be a little bit more, the road higher is definitely going to be tougher, especially with this RSI trend rejection. So I'm not really betting on, it breaking above 22.5, but considering the fact that it held very well at 22 and lifted higher back into the range, it is important to consider that we certainly could, basically just bounce off of this level right here and then, move back to the top end of the range to induce max pain during the US trading session. And then, of course, Asia can take over and decide what they want to do. So there's no clear read here, but below 22, you're probably tagging 21.3. Above 22.5, you have a little bit of room to roam up to 22.8, possibly 23, in my opinion, before more shorts will likely come in. And of course, if neither of those are broken, you are just sitting in a range and you're longing supports and shorting resistance to, some decent luck. Looking at Ethereum, very similar to Bitcoin, but I think, just the support is a little bit well defined. So if we're looking at, the arrows that I drew, when we drop down to 1540 this morning, of course that was support. So updated the Trade the Chain community, 1540 key level, hold it, back higher, maybe tagging the top of the range, possibly as high as 1600. Below that number, then you're talking about 1500, as low as potentially 1476, which is what we discussed yesterday. So, just zooming out a little bit, beneath 1475 is a pretty large fair value gap here. So we definitely want to hold this level for likely bullish continuation. Else, if you drop below there, things get very tough to survive. So very, very much something to consider there. So recap, DXY looking strong, needs to break above 105.5. Equities need to hold 4010. Bitcoin needs to hold 22K and or break above 22.5 for continuation, and ETH needs to hold 1540 and break above 1600 for potential continuation. So there's your daily update. Of course, all of the good information goes in the Trade the Chain community morning, noon, and night. So if you're not in there, please go ahead and join at www.tradethechain.com for all the juicy information, and of course the helpful and useful data and information on the dashboard. And we will see you all tomorrow. We have believe non-farm, we have unemployment on Friday, which is very important, and of course today is Jerome Powell speaking right now, which I would assume is going to go on for potentially another 30 to 60 minutes as senators are still speaking to him. So since he is still speaking, worth probably ending, once I'm done with my stream, going back to the Senate hearing. You can access it on CNBC. I think it's on, the Senate's YouTube and Senate's website and stuff too. So very public hearing, probably going to be some more juicy information in there, although, it's been going on for over an hour and a half now. So good luck. Happy trading. See everybody tomorrow.